Today, we are diving deep into the very blueprint of life, the cell. Specifically, we're going to look at the two major designs for all the complex life you see around you, plant cells and animal cells. Think of them like two workshops. They're both built from the same basic plan, but they're kitted out with totally different, specialized tools to do completely different jobs. Let's get into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at that shared blueprint that connects both cell types. Then we'll check out the unique add-ons that make a plant cell, well, a plant cell. After that, we'll flip over to see the special tools that animal cells have in their corner. And finally, we'll put them side by side to see how they really stack up.
Okay, before we even touch on the differences, we've got to talk about this word eukaryotic. Both plant and animal cells belong to this club. And what that means is that they're not just simple blobs. They're highly organized, sophisticated little machines with a main command center, the nucleus, and a bunch of other specialized compartments or organelles that all have a specific job to do. This shared design is the foundation for pretty much all the life we can see.
Right, so let's crack open that shared blueprint. Before we can really get wowed by all the unique customizations, we need to get a handle on the standard equipment. You know, the stuff that comes in both the plant and animal models. These are the absolute, non-negotiable essentials for keeping the workshop running.
And this shared toolkit is basically an incredible miniature factory. Everything happens on the workshop floor, which is this jelly-like stuff called cytoplasm. The nucleus, that's the main office, holding all the DNA blueprints. The whole thing is surrounded by the plasma membrane. Think of it as security, controlling what gets in and out. Of course, you need power, and that's where the mitochondria come in. They are the powerhouses. Then you've got your production crew. Ribosomes are building the proteins, the endoplasmic reticulum is the assembly line, and the Golgi apparatus is the shipping department, packing everything up. And to keep the place from getting messy, peroxisomes handle hazardous waste. It is a seriously efficient operation.
All right, now for our first specialization. Think about it. A plant can't just get up and walk away to find food or a safe spot. It's literally rooted in place. So to survive, it had to evolve some amazing custom tools on top of that basic blueprint, tools designed for a life of structure and making its own food.
So, first things first, how in the world does a plant stand up so tall and strong against gravity without a skeleton? Well, the answer is a brilliant piece of biological engineering that wraps around every single one of its cells.
The secret sauce here is a material called cellulose. The cell wall is made of this tough, rigid stuff that gives the plant cell a fixed, almost boxy shape. It's like an external skeleton for each individual cell, and when you put millions of them together, you get the strength that lets a tree grow hundreds of feet tall. So the plant has its structure sorted. But what about food? It can't exactly order a pizza. It has to make its own. And to do that, it's equipped with its own personal solar panels.
This is where the real magic happens. Photosynthesis. Inside these chloroplasts is a pigment called chlorophyll. It's what makes plants green, and it is phenomenal at capturing energy from sunlight. The chloroplast then uses that energy to turn carbon dioxide and water into sugar, which is the fuel for the entire plant. It's literally making food out of thin air and sunlight.
Now, the last big upgrade in the plant cell's workshop is this massive internal water tank. But it does way more than just store water. It's also a secret weapon in the plant's structural support system. And this thing is huge. It can take up to 90% of the cell's entire volume. It's all about something called turgor pressure. When this vacuole is full of water, it pushes out against that rigid cell wall, making the whole cell firm and stiff. This is literally what keeps the plant from wilting. When the vacuole starts to lose water, the pressure drops and the plant droops. It's a super simple but effective hydraulic system. Okay, let's switch gears and head over to the other workshop. Animal cells gave up that rigid structure we see in plants for something totally different, the ability to move. Their specialized tools are all about supporting a life of motion, eating things, and reproducing quickly. Since animal cells are out there hunting for food and are constantly breaking down and rebuilding themselves, they generate a lot of waste. To deal with all that junk, they have a dedicated garbage disposal and recycling unit that you just don't really find in plants. Meet the lysosomes. You can think of them as little bags swimming around inside the cell, filled with powerful digestive enzymes. They're the cleanup crew. They hunt down old, worn-out cell parts and break them into reusable bits. They digest food the cell has absorbed, and they even take out invading bacteria or viruses.
They are absolutely critical for keeping the cell healthy and running smoothly.
Next up, we've got a tool that's absolutely vital for growth and making new cells. For an animal to get bigger or heal a wound, its cells have to divide, and that process has to be organized perfectly.
This is where centrioles come into play, especially during a process called mitosis. When an animal cell gets ready to split in two, these centrioles act like foremen on a job site. They organize all the genetic blueprints, the DNA, and make sure that each new daughter cell gets a perfect, complete copy. Without them, growth and repair would be a total mess.
So, we've toured the standard issue workshop, and we've checked out the custom upgrades for both plants and animals. Now it's time for the final showdown. Let's put these two blueprints right next to each other and make the differences pop.
When you look at it like this, the whole story just clicks into place, right? Plants have a cell wall for that rigid structure, animals don't, which gives them flexibility. Plants have chloroplasts to make their own food, animals don't, because they eat other stuff. Plants have that giant central vacuole for water pressure, animals have just a few small ones, if any. And on the flip side, animals have lysosomes for cleanup and centrioles for cell division, two pieces of kit you generally won't find in the plant world.
In the end, it really all boils down to one of the most beautiful principles in biology: form follows function. The plant cell is a self-sufficient, solar-powered fortress built for stability and structure. The animal cell is a flexible, dynamic little engine built for moving, eating, and adapting on the fly. Each one is just perfectly designed for its own way of life.
And that leaves us with a pretty cool question to chew on. We've seen how useful that rigid cell wall is for plants. So what was the trade-off? Why did the entire animal kingdom give up that amazing built-in armor for a life of flexibility and movement? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.